I'm sorry I became the president of a certain promotion on your NLW channel. And you know what you can do? You can turn that NLW channel, shove it straight...
No. It's the Pigs and Fergs Wrestling Podcast.
You start with me now.
We've got to keep decorum.
Don't you cut me off, alright?
I'm cutting you off. Tonight, we are going to be in Las Vegas. You feeling lucky?
Yeah. Can't wait to go see some strippers.
Woo! Strippers, but there's no way out. No Way Out of Vegas, 2008, 2 Elimination Chamber matches and 2 World Championship matches as well. It's no way out, and also 2 jabs to the face of a certain giant who is returning. This is No Way Out 2008. We did a couple of episodes on the Royal Rumble 2008, Raw from the night after the Royal Rumble 2008, and you know what? We're just going to keep going. We're going to keep going with 2008. There's going to be bonus episodes. We figured it out now, haven't we? We've hashed out what the plan is.
We haven't. He's been hitting me all the week.
Shut up, Piggy. We have.
See, look, this is what I mean. This is what I mean, chat. Look. He rude.
Giving it this. So, whilst Piggy cried, you shut up and you look.
It's like my mother.
Look at what.
You know, it's everything about my mother. Like my mother used to do this.
You have the results. You have the results of what was going on around this time. The nostalgia seg. Are you prepared? What was happening on Impact? What was the pay-per-view?
I don't have this week, but I have next week's Impact. If that suits you.
All right, check it out. We'll start off with Impact. What was happening February 2008?
All right, I have next week's Impact.
But we can also briefly talk about wrestling figures. I mean, we kind of have really covered wrestling figures so far until we get to like May 2008, June, the summer. Then we'll talk about wrestling figures a little bit more. I can tell you a little bit of a story from wrestling figures while you find the info. Is that okay?
The February 14th edition of
TNA. I'll talk about wrestling figures first of all. Obviously, I was just saying to the lovely listeners that I remember at this time, this is when I started to really role play with my wrestling toys. I'm too old to be doing it at that point, by the way. I'm like 9. I think, is 9 too old to be role playing with your wrestling toys, would you say?
I wouldn't say so. I say about 15, 16, especially when you're 25. I know this is your birthday, and like you're a 25-year-old playing with toys.
I mean,
and you should grow up.
That is true. If I do it in the comfort of my own home and I don't show anybody, that's weird. But if I tell not millions of people, that's being generous. If I tell thousands of people that I'm doing it, it's fine.
Yeah, until you get some witty guy in the comments going, "You're too old to playing with figures," and you're like, "Mate, I make millions."
I make millions of pennies. I probably don't even make millions of pennies, to be honest. But it's nice. It's just fun, you know? And that's what we like, fun. Speaking of fun, what happened on TNA?
Well, I'll go through the next week's TNA after No Way Out. But the previous week, Brother Devon with Brother Ray and Johnny Define defeated my bloody boy, Curry Man and Shark Boy in a 2-on-1 handicap match.
Wow. Curry Man's back.
Scott Steiner with Raka Khan defeated P.T. Williams in 5 minutes and 7 seconds. AJ Styles and Tomko defeated Kevin Nash and Samoa Joe in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Relic defeated Eric Young in 2 minutes. Homicide with Hernandez won Pablo, don't know who he is. Montana and Salinas defeated Chris Sabin with Alex Shelley and Reed Sorson. And Jimmy Rave with Christy Hemme and Anti in a 3-way match in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Awesome Kong with Rasha Seed defeated ODB in a street fight in 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Don West and Mike Tenay were commentators, and your ring announcer was Jeremy Borash.
That sounds like a bad Impact. You wanted to watch every episode of TNA Impact in 2008?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been brutal. Sorry, have I touched a nerve?
You have. You upsetted me.
Oh, well, you know what? This was one of my favourite shows as a child. I remember watching this around the time of my 10th birthday, it would have been. And I remember being super excited for it because this was the first... Well, December to Dismember... Can I tell you a story about December to Dismember?
You can if you want.
So I was like 8, I believe, at the time when that show came out. And I was obviously a stupid kid, just got into wrestling like a couple months prior. And I was super pumped to watch December to Dismember. Over in the UK, obviously, we got it for free with a Sky Sports package. So I was going to record it on Sky Sports. And it was live Extreme Championship Wrestling. That's what it was displayed as on the Sky Planner. And I was like, yes, I can't wait to watch December to Dismember. Can't wait to watch the Hardys, who are my favourite. Can't wait to watch ECW. I didn't know what ECW was, really. And the Extreme Elimination Chamber. I was super pumped. And then I recorded it overnight. And the recording didn't... Because back in those days, you didn't DVR stuff. You had to put a physical VHS tape in and set the timer to like 1 a.m. or whatever it was on. And I was pumped up, and the day after, I come downstairs, I'm all excited to watch December to Dismember, and it turns out the recording failed, and I was gutted. And to this day, my mum doesn't admit it, but I think she sabotaged it. I think she purposely cancelled the recording because she didn't think that it was age appropriate for 8-year-old Fergal to watch Extreme Championship Wrestling, because she didn't know what wrestling was. She just saw the word extreme and thought, oh my, this is not suitable, without even bothering to watch the product. So, ironically, I was saved and spared from watching December to Dismember. So, yeah.
What does December to Dismember and this have in common?
Oh,
connection to
sorry.
The chamber?
It was the first chamber match I watched was No Way Out 2008, but the last chamber that they did was December to Dismember 2006. And a match on that show that was so horrible that they killed the gimmick for like a year and a bit, and they finally brought it back here. So that's what that has to do with it. There you go.
All right.
But yeah, I'm trauma dumping. I'm sorry. I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah, I can't.
We've got No Way Out 2008 from Las Vegas, opening contest for the ECW Championship. CM Punk versus Chavo Guerrero. Chavo Guerrero, many people say, is the best ECW champion of all time. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I mean, literally no one else you can think of that was a better champion.
Christian.
Oh, yeah, of course. These two had a better match, the Gulf of Mexico match. Is that a match you've ever seen?
No, that should be a bonus pick from Fergs.
Oh, well, we will watch it because I love... Oh, can we just do like a bonus video where we look at all the river matches?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always love that spot where they throw him into the river. So they had a Gulf of Mexico match which CM Punk won. GTS Chavo Guerrero so hard that he went whoa and did a cartoon backflip into a river, a dirty smelly river. So now the ECW Championship's on the line. And yeah, so weird to see Chavo as ECW champion. What are your thoughts really on the ECW brand at this time? Because the ECW champion was in the Royal Rumble, so it kind of killed the brand a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely killed the brand, I would say. I don't know what much to say because they didn't even consider it as a brand at this time. It was basically a developmental system.
Yeah, and they always got screwed over in the draft, particularly after, I know Benoit got drafted to ECW the year prior, and the Boogeyman, so they got a couple of picks, but whenever someone gets too popular in ECW, it's like NXT is now, if someone gets too popular in ECW, they get taken to the main roster. Happened to CM Punk, happened to Kane, and happened to Bobby Lashley as well, and ECW gets stuck with the duds, not the duds, but, you know, whenever there's a draft, they'll get Matt Hardy and no one else, or Vladimir Kozlov and no one else, so yeah, it's not really a brand that is designed to be main focus really of programming, which is a bit of a shame, but they still have the OG ECW Championship here, which is actually a championship belt that I own. It's one of my favourite designs of titles ever. What's your favourite title design, actually?
The Undisputed title from WWE in 2002, the one that Hogan held, the one that Undertaker held.
Lesnar, yeah, the Lesnar belt. That's great. Great figure. They're a great belt. I would love to have that. But this ECW title, you know what? Even though Chavo's not the greatest of champions, I think it looks pretty good around him. But this match is fine. there are a couple of points where the crowd is into CM Punk, you know. It's a bit sloppy, but it's not terrible. Like, CM Punk will hit like a plancha over the top. The best part of this match is when Chavo Guerrero reverses the GTS into a Hurricane Rana. That's one of the only things I wrote down because that was a very cool move. Tornado DDT for Chavo as well, gets a 2 count. Tries to hit the Three Amigos, but then Punk reverses it and hits his own Three Amigos, which, after this, I don't think CM Punk gets back into it with the crowd. The crowd is not happy with CM Punk after that. And then Chavo Guerrero is getting a Chavo chant here in Las Vegas. Does that surprise you?
No, it was pretty popular. Everyone loved the Chavo theme.
Oh no, I'm not saying I didn't like Chavo Guerrero. I just mean over CM Punk here.
Beating CM Punk.
Well, yeah, he does get a... Well, he tries for a top rope Hurricane Rana onto Chavo, but he holds onto the top rope, and then a frog splash, a neat little ending, and that's when Chavo wins, and he gets a pretty alright pop to win this one. But yeah, overall, the match was fine, but I was expecting a little bit more. I don't know about you.
I was expecting a tiny bit more, but, I was expecting a dessert, but, I'll take anything.
Yeah, I mean, it is a starter. You get it? It's the opening contest. But yeah, they're both good, and I reckon they probably had better matches than this. It was fine, but they didn't get enough time. It was only like 7 minutes, so yeah. Overall thoughts on this match then?
It was an okay match, really. It was. The fans didn't like CM Punk. They loved Chavo.
Yeah, as soon as CM Punk hit the Three Amigos, that was the kiss of death. The fans weren't into him at all, and that's when Chavo got the Chavo chance. But yeah, it was fine opener, nothing really. It's just a real shame that ECW brand doesn't get a lot of love, because I do enjoy Joey Styles and Taz on commentary. We've also got Mike Adamle on interviews, so he's interviewing Rey Mysterio next. Rey's got a torn bicep. I believe it's not quite as serious as like a pec or something, but it's still a nasty injury to have. And he's got the bruise kind of like when Cody had it, do you remember? So he sees... Who else? Who does Rey Mysterio bump into here?
Wayweather. Yeah, Fly Away.
You butchered that name, but yeah. So Mike Adamle's looking like a bit of a geek in the background, but it's okay, because Floyd Mayweather comes up and says what's up. He'll be in the crowd cheering on Rey later on. And next up, already we're getting the Elimination Chamber. Run down the lineup for this match.
I think if I can remember correctly, there's MVP.
2 big beefy.
I know my boy Big Daddy V's in it. That's
of course,
Big Daddy V, Undertaker, Batista. I already said MVP.
Funly.
And then there's someone else, Finley. That's who.
And the Great Khali.
Finley.
And the Great Khali as well.
Oh, yeah. I was confusing the Great Khali for Umaga.
Yeah. We'll get Umaga later. This one is the SmackDown / ECW Chamber for the World Heavyweight Championship. Not for the World Heavyweight Championship, just to decide who faces the champion at WrestleMania. I quite like having the number 1 contender on the line instead of the championship itself in these chambers.
Yeah, because it means the person who's fighting for the number 1 contendership is more worthy because they went through the chamber.
Yeah, I didn't like when the title was on the line and the guy just retained, because it felt like they were just having a title on the line in the chamber because it was that time of year. Do you know what I mean? At this point, it still felt a bit fresh.
It still felt fresh at this time compared to other times where it hasn't. Speaking
of fresh, check out Big Daddy V's Fresh Old theme. That's amazing. My favourite theme. I've said it many times that was my theme in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. And oh my god, he's got them big comedy titties, hasn't he?
Oh, big tits.
Oh, dude, I was slobbering. Big Daddy V. In the playground around this time, we all...
Did I just hear a moment?
Yeah. Oh, I love Big Daddy V, honestly. Unironically as well. Yeah, Viscera, Big Daddy V, Mabel. Not so much Mabel, but particularly Viscera and Big Daddy V, I loved, especially Big Daddy V. When he threw the Boogeyman through the chalkboard on ECW, oh, amazing. And always in the playground. I know everyone talks about Vader having the V symbol, but in the playground it was always Big Daddy V that we used to do that for. So, yeah, that's where we were, what influence he had on us. Quite a strange name. The more I look at his name, the more it stands out as well. I feel like watching his matches sometimes is like a fever dream, because you wouldn't put him in this in this era, you know, you'd associate him more with like Ruthless Aggression, New Gen, yeah?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, so we've got Batista and The Undertaker. They're starting this match. A wise choice. But genuine, like, they're the only two that can really win this, aren't they? So it kind of makes the whole, I don't want to say the whole thing redundant, but it lacks a little bit of tension. The opening sort of exchanges between Batista and The Undertaker aren't really that interesting, I must say. They do get the chain involved a little bit. Like, Batista gets thrown onto it and that looks nasty, but The Undertaker slows it down quite a bit with Batista, so they do a double big boot spot, and then that's when Big Daddy V gets in. And I'm not lying, right? Big Daddy V coming in, I think, picked this match up quite a bit. What did you think of his contributions here?
I loved when he threw Taker out of the chamber.
Yeah, oh my god, that was dangerous. So he throws Undertaker, and Undertaker obviously expecting to just rest against the chamber, but it's not locked properly, and he just falls through, and that could have been very dangerous.
Was he supposed to fall through?
I don't think so. That's why he didn't really have a controlled landing.
Oh, I thought he was supposed to fall through.
I'm almost certain he wasn't. Like, I mean, I could be wrong, but it did look like The Undertaker, he was selling, and then he suddenly went, oh fuck, and like had to like stop himself from like bumping his head on the steps. Big Daddy V runs at Batista and then plants him with a spinebuster, throws him to the outside. Undertaker DDTs him on the grating, and then he's out. And that's when the Great Khali comes in, and he comes in to beat up Batista and The Undertaker, and yes, you guessed it, it's a bit slow, and Khali gets speared, and Khali taps out to the Hell's Gate very quickly, like lasts even less time than Big Daddy V. And then Finlay comes in, and he runs into another big boot, comes back with a Celtic Cross. Finlay, apart from, is like the only one who doesn't look like a complete geek, really, apart from The Undertaker and Batista in here. Even MVP, I felt, was overshadowed here, but Finlay slingshotted into the chain and throws The Undertaker through the pod, I believe, isn't it? I mean, I almost forgot about it.
Yeah, but throws MVP off the pod.
Oh, that's later. That's when MVP comes in, but I think Undertaker almost gets thrown into the glass. Yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, he does. So that's when MVP comes in, because he's the last one. He kicks both Batista and The Undertaker, chokes Finlay out in the chain. Undertaker's bleeding, and he's not falling down, so MVP tries to run away because The Undertaker, he's immortal, and that's when we describe the landing of MVP here.
It's kind of a barrel roll if you're looking at it.
Yeah, I see that. He is choke slammed off the top, but not really a choke slam, like you said, barrel rolled from the top of the pod onto the canvas. That was could have been probably spot of the night, I would say. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, he takes it well, and it's a hell of a landing to take, so props to MVP. And then he's gone. So now we're down to Finlay, Undertaker, and Batista. Honestly, I mean, it would have been a bit of a curveball. Maybe have Finlay win this one. What would you say?
Oh, that would be great. Finlay versus Edge in the main event.
Because obviously you've got Vince and Vince with the feud with Finlay here. You could always progress it to Finlay winning the world title for his son, you know? I don't know. That probably wouldn't have played well at WrestleMania.
Finlay versus Edge in the main event when Charles Robinson does the run-in of the century.
Yeah, with Hornswoggle on the pole.
Oh yeah, now we're rebooking WrestleMania 24.
We don't need to rebook WrestleMania 24. It was fine. I'm sure other people will get to it, and we can shill Finlay all we want. We'll do a Finlay arc at some point. Actually, no, because most of his stuff happened in WCW, and that'd be brutal to review. So maybe put the kibosh on that. Finlay is eliminated with a brutal chokeslam on the steel. That's nasty. And then it comes down to Batista and The Undertaker, and Batista hits the Batista bomb, and The Undertaker gets up at 2. So last ride from The Undertaker out of the corner, and he's also can't be bothered to pin him, so it looks like we're going to get a tombstone, but he gets thrown to the outside. Batista keeps throwing the Undertaker into the chamber, and then looks like he's going to throw him like a lawn dart into the cage, right? And then perhaps one of the best finishes to a chamber match ever. Would you agree?
The Batista reversal tombstone thing.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Like, it's so smooth the way they pull it off. Like, so he's got it on his shoulders, and then they backflip over the top rope into an immediate tombstone and gets the win in about 30 minutes. The Undertaker wins. Yeah, this chamber match, I remember when I first watched it, I really liked it, but on second viewing, I don't want to say I hated it, but I didn't like it that much. I mean, there were individual spots that I liked. For instance, the finish. I liked the involvement of MVP getting thrown off the top. I liked chokeslam on the steel. But yeah, for me, it was just not really... It was just a bit of a plodding affair. And I don't mind Big Daddy V and Carly going in there for like short periods of time and getting eliminated, but I just felt like... Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of who else was in the company at this time, who you could have put in on SmackDown, rather, that you could have put into this spot. I guess don't have the match at all.
Chuck Palumbo.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, you could have built up Chuck Palumbo to be in this one, but I suppose...
Sean O'Hare, if you could bring him back.
Yeah, well, I suppose. Even
He's
Mark...
not dead at this point.
No. Mark Henry...
That's my cousin.
Mark Henry could have been put in this position. Kane as well, but I guess they were looking for people to pin. So I reckon
you could have had
CM Punk.
Just have someone from ECW.
CM Punk.
Yeah.
It should have been The Undertaker, Batista, Finlay, and MVP. I'll accept. Yeah, that makes sense. Instead of Big Daddy, I know Big Daddy V's like he was being pushed at the time, but I think they should have had. Obviously, they probably weren't going to put Kane in because they want to keep him strong. So I would say CM Punk and trying to think, John Morrison. There you go, because he's knocking about this time, isn't he? He's the tag team champion. I know he gets to shine at Money in the Bank, so that's something. But yeah, what do you think about this match?
It was an okay match.
Yeah, any particular highlights for you?
No highlights. Big Daddy V was the highlight.
Oh yeah.
No, Taker being thrown on the pod was good. The tombstone reversal was good as well. Anything different, I would have changed Big Daddy V and Grey Conley for the edge heads. So
yes, yeah. No, I know what you mean.
I understand people would go, well, they're just jobbers. That's the entire point. You could have them build up and be like, Edge, we will win this chamber for you. We will win it. We will win it, and then we will fight you at WrestleMania. And then literally, so the thing goes 3, 2. I know that's the Rumble, but let's just go with it. So the thing goes 3, 2, 1, honk. Zack Ryder comes out, runs in, punches the Undertaker. Do you remember the Hurricane spot in the Rumble 02 where he tries to chokeslam both Taker and Batista?
Yeah.
Or not Taker and Batista, sorry. Tries to chokeslam both Triple H and Stone Cold. You basically have Zack Ryder run in, punch Taker, punch Batista, but like, yeah, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do this for you, Edge. Turn around, chokeslam, 1, 2, 3. Kurt Hawkins runs in. So he's the next one out. So it goes Taker, Batista, then you have MVP, Zack Ryder, then Kurt Hawkins, and then Finlay. You then have Kurt Hawkins run in. He's like, I'm going to win this for you, Edge. I'll win this for you. I am the best goddamn wrestler. I'm the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Runs in, punches Taker, punches Batista. Batista picks him up. Batista bomb. 1, 2, 3. He's gone.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
But then again, I suppose, yeah, they think about who they're trying to push and Big Daddy. But then again, Big Daddy V only has like one more match after this, and then he's gone. Edge is backstage with the Edge heads, speaking of, and he's nervous about facing the Undertaker at WrestleMania, but he's going to have to not look past Rey Mysterio, and then Theodore Long comes in and says, Hawkins and Ryder, you're banned from ringside. So, yeah, we get the same WrestleMania commercial as before, and then we get to the Playboy Mansion. So, yeah, your thoughts on this segment here? I thought I saw it on the Raw, but I actually saw it on this. So, Maria, she decides to pose for Playboy, and she's at the mansion with Hugh Hefner. What do you think about this segment?
Can we just skip this? Because we cannot dissect this segment.
Why not?
I don't want to dissect this segment that I do not want to talk about.
You're not a fan of Maria showing her titties?
She didn't show her titties, so I had a look.
What, in the Playboy?
Yeah, she didn't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a safe for work Playboy.
Oh, what's the point then? Oh my god.
Alright, you sexist.
No, I'm just saying false advertising.
Don't even tell your partner. I'll tell your partner you're saying sexist things on this podcast.
Well, you're threatening my career, and there's a career-threatening match up next. I'm not actually mad about the Playboy stuff. Again, it's a WWE thing, and it's how they got their Mandy Rose as well. What do you think about that situation? I know it's a bit of a tangent.
You shouldn't be sacked for sending naughty pictures of yourself. Like, people, you do not know how much money Bailey would make, for example, if Bailey did naughty photos. She would, I tell you, she'd probably make millions. I'm not being generous here, she would. So it's the exact same thing with Mandy Rose. If your body can sell, just make the money. Because people would rather see your body than see you put your body on the line and get hurt. And that's not being funny.
Get that bag is what we say. Do you think she should have been fired?
No, she shouldn't have. I think Mattel was the reason why she got fired, which doesn't make sense to me.
Because it's not like... Yeah, but I'll put it this way. If, for instance, let's say Roman Reigns was selling pictures of his dick online, yeah, would you think that would fly?
I say vote for Roman Reigns because it's Roman Reigns.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true. What about Madcap Moss?
You want to see the big dog, do you? You want to see the big dog? I'll show you
Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss, he's selling pictures of his dong. Is that... Do you think he should remain employed?
No, not so much. He would be probably sacked. For Roman, they probably would be like, calm down with that, mate. For Madcap Moss, they'd be like, here's your P45, you're sacked. Haha, I seen your sack on the internet. But here's your P45.
I will say this. Mandy Rose now has any opportunity she wants to go to any company she wants and she can do that as a hobby and have a great income from selling pics. So you know what, honestly, hats off to you. Yeah,
you setting up your fans free account there, Fergus.
I don't think it's in with the brand of NLW, to be honest. You need the face reveal.
But we do want to see a face. You will see a face reveal, guys, when we go to Money in the Bank. I will promise you that.
We'll see. The only pictures I should be selling are of my face. And even then, it's a bit of a no-go zone. But yeah.
I've seen his face. You guys are missing out.
Who's got a beautiful face? Ric Flair.
No, he hasn't. He's about as wrinkly as a sharp puppy dog.
He is. Oh my god, he looks old in HD, doesn't he?
His titties should have been covered up in 2008, and I don't care.
Even Big Daddy V had a singlet, like...
No, his titties are more saggy than Big Daddy V's titties.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's still not retired, he's still hanging on there, so he faces Mr. Kennedy. Didn't like this match. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't either.
If you've seen the Rumble match, like Flair versus MVP, it's essentially the same thing, just, like, not as interesting, and the crowd's not into it as much either. Ric Flair, he's been beaten down by Kennedy basically throughout this match. Kennedy steals all Flair's moves and then hits the Green Bay plunge, and eventually Flair gets the figure 4 out of nowhere after being beaten up the whole match and wins. But yeah, so Flair still fights another day, but the crowd just wasn't into it because there was no way that Kennedy was going to beat him before Mania. So yeah, what do you think about this match?
What do I think about this match?
Yeah.
Nothing match. Are we going to talk about Flair's after his promo after the match? I will never retire. I'm like,
he's not wrong. Right. He's dead, and you can tell he is dead serious, because I know that the thing about this time was he really did not want to retire, and WWE kind of forced his hand and said, well, we're not going to use you, so you might as well do this storyline. So yeah. And he was
could have just left for TNA.
Yeah, he did. About 2 years after this, he was back in the ring. So yeah.
I do wonder, does Ric Flair regret going to TNA?
I mean, you hear what he's saying now. We talked about it off air about the contrarian stuff. People just trying to be contrarian for the sake of it. That's what Ric Flair's doing these days.
What's he saying about AEW? I haven't heard of this.
Well, you wouldn't believe it, but he doesn't like it, you see. And anytime and he says Sami Zayn as well, he's too goofy to be in the bloodline.
Yeah, Ric Flair, you were literally in the fucking Evolution. Like, mate, calm down.
You made a career out of getting your ass out for laughs. You know what I mean? That was it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. I don't want to talk about Ric Flair anymore. Mr. McMahon's mocking Finlay as he's being checked on by doctors, and Hornswoggle's facing Vince McMahon in a steel cage tomorrow on Raw. So, yeah, that's a bonus episode waiting to happen, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's an episode. Yeah, that is an episode. That will happen.
Edge versus Rey Mysterio up next. Get a promo package before this where Rey Mysterio... Well, Edge has proposed to Vicky, and they're going to get married. I'm sure that's going to end well. And Rey Mysterio is not happy about this. So, rematch from the Royal Rumble, world title on the line, except this time, Rey Mysterio, unfortunately, has the torn arm, and you can really tell that it's causing him problems here. So, you know, Rey's obviously not in the best headspace right now. He does hit a flying leg scissors, and, you know, even then he's kind of wincing. So, Edge throws Rey into the steel and then taunts. It's a lot of kind of hot dogging and grandstanding, really, just to kind of work around the arm. You know, arm submission but blocked, and then Rey's hung up in the Tree of Woe, and Edge gets his little tiny edge heads, if you know what I mean, crushed in the steel post. Then a moonsault from Rey, quite impressive, with a busted arm, and a tornado DDT, and Edge does get to the ropes eventually, breaking up the pin. Rey connects with a 619, but his arm is too messed up to capitalise. Hits a springboard, but just like the Royal Rumble, eats a spear in midair to end the match in like just over 5 minutes. So Edge retains. You know, not really much of a match, but considering Rey's arm is messed up, like, not terrible.
Yeah, it's a shame his arm's messed up. But was that true? Was his arm actually messed up in real life?
Yeah, so he, on a house show, I believe, like the night before or 2 nights before, he injured his arm. So they decided to go ahead with the match here, and that's why it wasn't much, and that's why it ended quite quickly. And I think the stuff with the Big Show after was kind of to write him off. And yeah, so he ends up missing WrestleMania for a second year in a row, and he ends up being out of action. He returns in June when he's drafted to Raw in the draft, but he doesn't compete for another couple of months. So I don't think he returns to the ring until, I want to say, August, September, that kind of time. So, yeah, he's out for quite a while after this.
All right. No, nothing to add.
Yeah, so he's managed to finish his match anyway. And then, while he's getting checked over,
it's the big show.
Slimmer show.
Oh, it's the big show tonight.
Big Show's looking lean. What do you think of his physique here?
He's definitely lost a lot of weight. So he has. He's definitely lost a lot of weight. He's been going for a year and a half at this point, hasn't he?
Yeah, since December to Dismember-ish time, yeah.
Jesus.
So he's lost like 100 pounds, I think. It's insane. And yeah, he's cutting a promo. He's happy to be back, and he says he'll be a champion again. Yeah, just look at before and after, like Big Show before he left WWE and after. Like, thank God this guy took a year off, because he looks so much better here. And 2008 was a pretty good year for him, I think. If hindsight, no, 2009 was probably better, but his return was pretty good. So yeah, yeah, and then he's cutting this babyface promo, and then suddenly, boom, he's back to being a heel. Goes outside and bullies Rey Mysterio, and yeah, mocks Floyd Mayweather at ringside, and that's when Floyd Mayweather jumps the barricade. Do you want to kind of describe this segment, if you can?
Basically, Floyd Mayweather wants to punch the Big Show, from what I gathered. So his mates are holding him back, and Floyd Mayweather's like, I'll batter you and I'll batter your dad. And Big Show's like, bring it on, mate. My dad's already dead. He was dragged out by the big boss man. And then Floyd Mayweather, then Big Show gets down on his knee, and he's like, look, you're a tough man. Go on, hit me. And then Floyd Mayweather punches him in the face. And that's about it. And then Big Show chases them off, and one of the rappers fall flat in their hole on the way back.
They do. Oh, I thought that was Floyd for a minute, and I was like, oh no. But yeah, they run away, like literally, like it's not like a WWE running away. They are pelting out the arena, and Show chases them, but then Shane McMahon of all people tries to like calm him down. But yeah, this was a awesome segment. What do you think about this?
Is this where you got inspiration for Punk and McGregor?
My inspiration for Punk and McGregor was kind of this, and also Tyson Austin. That was the one, and I think this took a bit of inspiration from Tyson Austin as well.
It was a fun segment. I loved seeing Rey Mysterio get bullied. It was funny.
Whatever you think about Floyd Mayweather, he still looked, speaking solely as like an angle here, looked very good. Beating up Big Show and battering him in the face, and just seeing the blood pour down Big Show's nose and spitting out the blood and just having that snarl on his face while Shane's telling him to back off. Oh man, so good. And the Mania match was pretty alright too, but we will get to that next month, people. Don't you worry. Did Big Show have a blood capsule, or did he actually literally punch him? So the story goes that the Big Show told Floyd, "Do not hit me in the nose." What does Floyd Mayweather do? He punches him square in the nose, and what you were seeing was the Big Show legitimately pissed off and angry that Floyd Mayweather almost broke his nose, because it wasn't meant to be like that. He might have had a blood capsule as well, but he did bust his nose up to look like that. So yeah, bit of heat. I think the last person you want to heat with is the Big Show. Do you think this match should be counted on Floyd Mayweather's record? He wins though, doesn't he? Does he count it on his record? In all seriousness? No, he doesn't. But he should. He did technically win the match. Yeah, he did. He did win. Yeah. Different sport, I guess, if you want to call it that. So. Damn it. Yeah, there you go. Logan Paul counts his wins at WWE, even though Logan Paul shouldn't be in wrestling because he abandons pigs and he scams people out of money. Viewers out of money, yeah, No, you don't understand. I was trying to scam you, but I didn't make any money, so technically, I didn't do it. That's like an eBay seller saying, look, I didn't scam you. I know I said I was giving you the Bret Hart Ultimate Edition 2, but I didn't scam you. I just gave you Owen Hart from Jaws instead in a Bret Hart box. So I technically didn't scam you. I technically didn't. Hey, I was what? We could go on a whole tangent about him. Oh man, that just annoys me so much. Just Pigs and 4 to 100 special. Let's go, baby. God. Logan Paul. Screw it. Yeah, before I was kind. I was what's the word? Neutral to him in WWE. I was oh fine, he's not my cup of tea, but just yeah, it's just you can't ignore it, can you? Just deliberately trying to scam people, and he's done this twice, so yeah, a bit scummy. 3 times, I'll have you know. Oh, of course. You're my favourite kind. WWE Championship, Randy Orton versus John Cena. So at the month before the Royal Rumble, John Cena won the Rumble, and he wanted to cash in his title shot on that very night. The Raw after the Rumble, I should say. But instead, they're going at No Way Out instead of WrestleMania, which I'm not too sure if what people at the time were thinking about it, but I don't mind. I think it's an interesting way to go to WrestleMania because he's eager to win the championship. And obviously, Cena lost his title because of an injury that in storyline Orton caused, but really it was just an accident with Kennedy, I believe. So they try and out-wrestle each other early on. John Cena gets some near falls early. And by the way, what did you think, before we really get into the match properly? I know we kind of touched on it on Raw, but your thoughts on Cena getting his shot at No Way Out instead of Mania? It's a fun concept, actually. I wonder how Cena wormed his way into the WrestleMania match, because I never knew. I never found out how he wormed his way into the match. Well, it's because of how this match ends, which we'll get to, I think. I'm pretty sure it was and also, I think they were just trying to pit Cena and Triple H against each other, I think. Maybe it was Regal trying to... I can't quite remember. I'm sure I can go back and look at it, but it's definitely to do with the ending of this one. So yeah, goes to the top rope, gets a leg drop, and 2 count. Goes for the FU, but Orton elbows out, and then is holding him in a rest hold, slowing it down, way down, and Cena rallies back though, hits a couple of shoulders, 5-knuckle shuffle, but Orton gets out the FU again. They fight on the outside, and both get in so close to the count of 10. Then Orton goes for the RKO, Cena counters, and the STFU. And this is peak Mr. Tickle here, the way that Orton is slithering and sliding around the ring. and then he manages to get outside and he yells at the referee to count him out because he wants to retain the championship even if he loses the match, which is fair enough. Why doesn't every wrestler do this?
Because they're not smart like Randy Orton.
They need to explain it in storyline, because this was, I think, the start of that trope. Not the start of the trope, but definitely we saw it a lot after this, where the guy defending the championship would just try and get DQ'd or try and get counted out. I hate that. Is probably my least favourite trope in wrestling. What about you?
The screw job's the worst trope in wrestling.
Yes, yeah. I'd say that's up there. But this is like, at the very least, explain why a champion should even bother to win his match. Do you know what I mean? I think if they said, look, if you win the match, right, Orton, if you get disqualified, you're not getting paid for your win. The winning purse goes to John Cena. He may not win the title, but he gets the money. Do you see what I mean? Build it that way.
Yeah.
Or
I do.
Say you get intentionally disqualified, then you have to put your title on the line again against Cena. Or they do what they do in the UFC. If it's a DQ, then you just vacate the belt. Like, if you deliberately DQ, then the belt is taken off you. It doesn't go to Cena, but it gets taken off you. But then I imagine like interferences and stuff like that would make it a bit difficult. But yeah, there's so many wrestling tropes that it could be fixed with simple explanation. But yeah, anyway, doesn't get counted out, and then Cena tries to get after Orton, but hit with an RKO, and then Cena beats the count finally, and then Orton's like, screw it, I'll slap the ref, get myself disqualified, and the referee played into it. Like, it was so stupid. He's obviously trying to get disqualified. Why are you disqualifying him? It's so stupid. Oh man, I hate this match. The crowd was into it, but like Cena and Orton, right? They had some bangers, yeah. They had some insane matches. This was not one of them. What did you think about this?
It was an okay match. I loved the finish. I will admit, I loved the finish.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's hilarious, that finish.
It made me laugh. Don't get me wrong, but it started that trend. Well, it didn't start that trend, but it definitely popularized that trend because Orton did this all the time, and then Christian would do it, and then just so many other people would do it, and it made me. I was sick of it, and Edge as well. Like, yeah, it's just a trope. But I must admit, the sight of Orton slapping the referee and Cena going, no, don't do it, and then the ref rings the bell, is quite funny. But then Cena just batters Orton afterwards and he taps out. So yeah, fair enough. Not much really.
I'm going to do what Mr. Men is John Cena.
Mr. Strong, surely.
Is he Mr. Strong? Let's find out.
Or
he's Mr. Happy?
Not here, he's not. What, you can be a different Mr. Man, like gender, it's fluid. So, you could be a Mr. Man on one day.
You can't make that joke on the internet because people will have that there's only two genders and that's it. There can only be two genders. A man can't be a woman and a woman can't be a man. Just go fuck yourself. A man can be a woman and a woman can be a man. Fuck you. See you. Bye.
Men and women aren't real. It's all a social construct, and John Cena can be Mr. Strong or any Mr. Man character for that matter. But what is he?
He can be Mr. Impossible.
Ooh. Is that a real Mr. Man?
Yep, Mr. Impossible. Do you want an image of Mr. Impossible?
While I talk about that, did you remember the poll? The poll for the main event?
No, I don't. I know Jeff Hardy wins it, that's all I know.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the thing. So obviously Jeff Hardy wins the poll, and that just goes to show you how popular he was, because he beats out Jericho and Shawn Michaels. He just looks like a bloke with a hat. Sorry, I'm looking at Mr. Impossible.
Show it on screen now. This has to be the thumbnail for No Way Out.
What, John Cena? Oh, I can't. I'm gonna have to, aren't I? I'll put a little Mr. Impossible in the corner. There you go. If you're wondering now, you've gotten this far in the video. Congratulations. You know why Mr. Impossible is there peeking out from behind whoever is in this.
Hello, I'm Mr. Impossible.
It's just a bloke in a hat. Is it the gimmick that he? I'm talking about it's like wrestling now. Is it a gimmick that he is just like he can fly, he can do all this other stuff? Oh, you would love this. There's a Mr. Mischief and the Leprechaun book.
Mr. Impossible. Mr. Impossible is the 25th book in the Mr. Rain series by Roger Hargreaves. Nothing is impossible to Mr. Impossible. He can do anything. He has magic powers. similar to Little Miss Magic, and even uses his powers to motivate people. One day he goes to school with a boy named William. Doesn't sound dodgy at all. He proves he can do anything. He proves he can do anything in some amazing ways. Yeah, I remember I had an Uncle Jim who said I can pull a rabbit out of his hat.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
His rabbit
No.
Mr. Impossible appears under the title
Can we?
Monsieur Incredible, French, Don Impossible in Spanish, Monsieur English in German. I can't say that in Korean. And Taiwan, I can't say that. Ooh, Kubalok, Block, I can't say Greek. Monitor on a mark, I can't do Dutch. And Senior Impossible in Portuguese.
You just sound like you're having a stroke at the end there, like trying to read all these different languages in your silly piggy accent.
Oh, hold on here. Okay, I'm going to send you the last bit in. You read out this last bit and see if you can do this. All right. Before you start on me again, Fergal. All right, here you go. Send it on Discord. Read out this then. Read this out.
Okay, I will. Mr. Impossible appears in the titles under the titles Monsieur Incroyable, Don Impossible, Unser Unmoglich. I ain't reading Korean, I can't read Korean. I ain't reading Greek either. Alright, you got me on the Dutch. Oh, I can do Portuguese. Senhor Impossível.
See, I told you, it's hard, isn't it?
No, that's
it's
true.
hard.
You're right, okay. Point taken.
We have to do what Mr. Men is everyone in the Elimination Chamber, if that's alright.
You can do that, yeah. So before we get to the chamber, obviously we're talking about the poll results. So Jeff Hardy edges out Triple H as the favourite here, and yeah, I remember at the time I was massive Jeff Hardy mark. I was so pumped to see Jeff Hardy in this chamber. I really wanted him to win so much, and I was sad for like a week afterwards when he lost. Spoiler alert. Winner of this match becomes number one contender for the WWE title at WrestleMania. It's Chris Jericho, Intercontinental Champion Jeff Hardy, JBL, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Umaga. Lillian Garcia tries her best to announce the rules, but fucks it up a little bit. So we get Jericho and Michaels starting the match. Yeah.
Hold on, yeah. Run through each competitor and I'll give you a Mr. Man.
Okay. So, Chris Jericho.
He is Mr. Funny.
Jeff Hardy.
He is Mr. Dizzy.
JBL.
He is Mr. I think there's a Mr. Man he's Mr. Greedy.
Yes. Yeah.
Or Mr. Nosy.
Shawn Michaels.
He's Mr. Bump or Mr. Topsy Turvy.
Mm-hmm. Triple H.
He is Mr. Mr. Strong or Mr. Rush.
I said Mr. Umaga. Who is he?
Mr. Umaga is who is he? He's Mr. Rude, or he's Mr. Nobody.
I would say rude because he's very rude to the people in this match. In the way his Samoan manner.
What Mr. Meng is Taz? Now here's the real question.
Mr. Small.
There has to. All right, let me have a look here. I know we're sidetracking, but we have to solve this unanswered question. Okay. He is Mr. Chatterbox.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Do you want me to do you want me to read out each description of the Mr. Men character?
No, we get it. For a minute, I thought you were going to say, "Do you want me to pick?" No, it's fine. I understand. By the way, people at home, if you want a description of each Mr. Man character, it's in their name. Like, it's not that hard. Mr. Dizzy, he gets dizzy. Like, it's not that hard. But we'll do a Mr. Man show review, should we? At some point.
We're going to watch a Mr. Man show for the 100 subscribers.
Yeah.
That's our.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll release it soon after this video, hopefully. But yeah. Jericho and Michaels, they start off this match. Good. They're probably the best two wrestlers in this match, I would say.
Jericho and Michaels?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, in terms of like fundamentals. And actually overall, to be honest. But the lineup of this chamber is probably one of the best ever. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think there's so much. It shows you on Raw how much talent they've got there. So Jericho and Michaels, they start. They are doing some very cool cool moves, and Jericho goes for the walls, Shawn counters and tries a sharpshooter, and most of this early portion of the match, in fact I think all of it, is just in the ring. They don't even go out and use the chamber yet, which is quite good that they build to it. And that's when the buzzer goes off, and then Umaga comes in, and he's bulldozing everyone and basically batters everyone, and he, Umaga is someone who as a kid I wish I appreciated more, because he's very, very good. Usually these big monster guys, they can't work, but they can't wrestle really. But Umaga, I think, is underrated in terms of how quickly he can move across the ring, especially for a guy who's described as a monster. He hits a double Samoan drop on both of them, which is insane. Shawn Michaels kicks him outside, and then Umaga misses a splash, eats an elbow drop from Shawn Michaels. Jericho has the walls applied, and then Shawn gets the crossface double submission, but he's saved by JBL. Why JBL would... Yeah?
Can I just make a side note? I understand they're Benoit, but why would you allow Michaels to use Benoit's finisher, is the thing.
It's weird because it feels too soon, doesn't it?
It does.
That's
what I'm trying to get across. Like, he's using the crossface about 8 months after his death.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 months.
I guess it's fair game. No one else is using it. But would the crossface fall into the remit of, I'm not talking copyright terms, fair use, really? Because it is a fairly common move. I mean, he did... Obviously, Benoit popularised it, but it's still like a move in the wrestling lore. Do you know what I mean?
I know it's a move in the wrestling lore, but I understand that. But I don't think it should be used so often. Like, in all ways, it shouldn't have been used that good,
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. But lucky for you, JBL probably feels the same way, because he just beats them down. I don't know why. Why did he break up the submission?
I don't know. Why did he?
God knows. I think maybe the only reason I could think of was to maybe have an ally in there, but why would you be an ally to Umaga? Because he doesn't care about you, but yeah. So JBL just beats up Jericho, and then we see that Shawn Michaels is busted open. Again, like the blood in the chamber in HD as well is a bit of a weird contrast. This is like the last bloody chamber as well, where they get colour really. So fifth entrant comes in, and it's Triple H, and he is basically on fire here, spinebusters to everyone. Jericho stops him, misses the Lion's Salt, and JBL hits a clothesline from hell on Triple H, but turns right into the code breaker, and that's our first elimination. JBL is so angry, and this is a spot we've seen in so many Elimination Chambers where he gets a chair and he batters Jericho, Michaels, and Umaga, and the chair shot. Oh yeah, as well. Did you see the referee pass Jericho the blade?
I did see that. I did. I couldn't stop laughing at that moment.
Literally, it's the most obvious passing as well. I don't know. And also, I think this was something that I can't remember if it was Jericho who said this, but I know someone who wrestled around this time said it. With the advent of HD, the little things like calling spots and passing blades and stuff like that was a lot harder to do because the picture was a lot clearer. So maybe they're still getting used to that, perhaps?
Perhaps.
I don't know. But, yeah, Shawn's bleeding like a stuck pig. You've also got...
Hey.
Oh, excuse me, sorry, I didn't mean to offend. Jericho's bleeding too. He's gushed in every show we've watched so far. And then everyone's down, and that's when Jeff Hardy comes in, and he goes after everyone. Poetry in Motion takes out DX with Whisper in the Wind. Umaga smashes him down, and then, oh my goodness, Umaga murders, with a capital M, Jericho, with a big running backside to Jericho through the chamber glass. That's one of the best chamber glass spots they've done, isn't it?
It's up there with the Goldberg spear.
Oh, Goldberg is definitely number one. And number two would probably be the first one where Jericho's thrown through it. But yeah, this is up there. And yeah, just wipes him out, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So
he does.
When they get back in, Umaga gets a super kick to him, a code breaker and a pedigree, and then Swanton from off the pod. Oh, and he's gone at 20 minutes. And then as soon as Jericho gets up after the cover, Sweet Chin Music! So Jeff Hardy eliminates him. And What do you think about the rapid fire eliminations? Because it was a lot more spaced out earlier.
I don't know how to feel, because I think that they were just running out of time and they were told, hurry up.
But I do like it gives it a sense of urgency. I know it must have been like a time issue, but I like the sense of urgency. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think maybe they could have done more with Triple H and Shawn Michaels against Jeff Hardy to really sell him as the underdog.
Yeah, you have DX beating up the underdog.
Yeah, and then, so Triple H actually eliminates Shawn Michaels pretty quickly, like, turns on him, but the crowd doesn't seem to turn on him too badly, which is weird. Pedigree to eliminate Shawn Michaels, and then we're left with Triple H and Jeff Hardy. And I remember this as a kid being a lot longer than it ended up being, only because I was a massive Jeff Hardy fan. So they slug it out. Jeff gets DDT on the steel. He gets a. Does he do the poetry in motion to the cage, or am I misremembering it?
I think he tries to, but Triple H blocks it, I think.
Oh, yeah, that might be what it is. So he misses a swanton as well, gets pedigree, but kicks out the pedigree, and the crowd, oh my god, is so on board with Jeff Hardy, and they are wanting him to break through. Yeah, oh, dude, Jeff Hardy came so close. Hits a twist of fate on a steel chair, but Triple H counters it. Wait, did he? Yeah, he did counter it, and then hit the pedigree on the chair, and Triple H wins. Oh, man. I mean, I love this match so much. This is, like, top 5 Elimination Chambers for me. Definitely. Obviously, the quick eliminations, they could have done a little bit more. And we could have got a little bit more of an ending stretch between Jeff Hardy and Triple H. But I think that's probably because of time constraints. Obviously, not perfect, but they're giving it more time. It left me wanting more. I love this match. The only nitpick I have is that I remember as a kid being devastated that Jeff Hardy lost here. In hindsight, correct decision, but ignoring him getting, suspended before WrestleMania, like, would you have had Jeff Hardy win here?
I would, and then suspend him after WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't really... I understand. But the... because you could have done Randy Orton, John Cena, and then slip in Jeff Hardy as like that Chris Benoit role. When he faced Triple H and Shawn Michaels, like he was like the outsider, and I think that could have been like your WrestleMania main event. Obviously, in hindsight, you see that Jeff Hardy kind of messed it up, but that could have been insane. I like that match a lot. What did you think?
It was a good match. It was better than the SmackDown Chamber, I'll tell you that much.
But in terms of like where it ranks in your all-time like chamber matches, what would you say?
It's not in my top 10, maybe my top 15.
I'm sure if I go back now and think about it, there was probably more. Like I know there were a couple in the past couple of years, like the 2019 one with Kofi and Bryan in it. That was one of my favourites. And like a couple others more recently, like 2017, that probably edged this one out. But I just thought it was my favourite because Jeff Hardy was in it. And like it's such a good roster of people in it. But yeah, I liked it a lot better than the first chamber match. Although both chamber matches weren't too bad, to be fair. This show, it was a lot worse than I remember. Not to say it was terrible, but it wasn't great. Like the first chamber was fine. The second chamber was really good. But then all the world title matches, for one reason or another, just weren't clicking. And like Kennedy Flair sucked as well. So yeah, but I will say the Floyd Mayweather segment, absolutely fantastic. But yeah, aside from that, not really a lot to seek out on this show. Maybe watch the main event, but that's it. And watch the Mayweather segment. But yeah, what did you think about this show?
It was a good show. It was a good show. Not as good as the Rumble.
No, again, I'm probably comparing it to the Rumble when I say it's not so good. But well, on that note, we're not going to end the episode arguing like we did last time. I'm fine. But yeah, thank you for the results there. That was No Way Out. Next week, Lord knows, are we starting No, we're not starting that yet. I think next week is the show's Raw
show.
Yeah, so it's our no, basically what we'll set out what's happening next week. We're talking about, we've talked about the shows that were on when we were born, shows that we watched when we first got into wrestling. Now we're going to talk about the first shows that we ever went to. In my case, the first show I went to was a Raw. In your case, it was on the same day as an event you went to as well, but it kind of gives you a snapshot of the time you went to the wrestling when you first got into it. First went to it. So, yeah, next week, Raw from Birmingham, England. And we've got Ryback, got John Cena, got Vicky Guerrero. What's not to love? We'll do that next week, but for now, thank you for listening. Pigs, any final thoughts?
No thoughts. After this podcast ends, we will discuss the future of this podcast.
No arguing. We've made up. We've kissed and made up, and now we're all good, aren't we?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.